Another horrific story that made headlines in 2008 was the brutal rape of Jessica Foord. Jessica was attacked by 4 men while walking her dogs with her father at the Shongweni Dam in KwaZulu-Natal. Following her ordeal, Jessica chose to speak out publicly about gang rape and set out the Jess Foord Foundation to help other rape survivors. She joins us now from our Durban studio. Jessica, good evening, and thank you for coming in. When you heard Anene's story, what was your first reaction?
I was horrified, absolutely disgusted. It's terrible to hear about rape on a daily basis, but to hear of such a brutal one, and to hear that the poor girl lost her life over it, it's just tragic.
You must have also noted, Jessica, the reaction across the board, particularly from politicians and the leadership in this country around what should be done. There's a lot of anger and a lot of finger pointing. When you reflect on what happened to you in 2008, we're now in 2013, it's years on, there have been cases over the last decade where people have been brutalized in a similar fashion. Do you think that the necessary policy reactions have taken place, the corrective steps have been taken place, both in the judiciary and in the criminal system, to properly deal with this?
I think, well, first of all, I think it's actually quite sad that it takes a woman to actually be murdered before people stand up and want to make a difference. We've had the rape statistics at this moment are every 17 seconds a girl is raped in South Africa, and if that's happening so often, why does it take a girl being murdered for them to come forward and actually say something about it and to want to do something about it? Why aren't we caring about the other hundreds of girls that are going through this on a daily basis? And I really feel that the police and the justice system are doing the best that they can. They really are working extremely hard, but they are so understaffed, and it is happening every 17 seconds, and I really feel they're understaffed and they're not able to deal with it, and we need to do something about it.
Well, what would you say in terms of the way your case was handled vis-a-vis the perpetrators and the evidentiary link, because that really is what takes a case from an event to a conviction to jail time for the perpetrators. When you look back on the way your case was handled, just talk us through some of the events.
I think my case was handled extremely well. Like this case going on now, it was a very high media case. So I think everyone jumped to it and did the best that they could, and they were on their best behavior, and I'm very grateful for that. But again, I think it should be done for every single case. My court case was handled very well. It was a year later to date, which is extremely rare. It normally takes 3 to 4 years for something like this to actually make it to court. And they were sentenced, they were given life imprisonment, which again is hardly ever happens. Majority of criminals actually get away with it and they walk free. Our conviction rate is extremely low. So I think, again, my case was handled really, really well because I think it was in the media.
So many people are reeling, Jessica, if you look at social networks and just the way the media has covered this in general, and you had the incident as well in India recently with that medical student that was brutalized. People are trying to get in, you kind of get so connected to these people who've been victimized and brutalized. And I know that you've spoken out publicly about your experience. Just talk us through the helplessness, the terror, all of those things that take away your right to just be a normal citizen doing, exercising your constitutional right to walk your dogs, for example.
I think it's obviously, it's a horrific thing to happen, and it's no one ever wants to go through something like that, but I made a conscious decision to not let it take over my life, to not let those men take anything more than what they did on that day. They took my body, but they didn't take me, and I really want to put that message out to all the other girls who are going through this. Don't let them take you. There's nothing you can do about it at the time that it's happening, but from then onwards, it's up to you. It's your mind, it's your personality, it's your spirit. Don't let them take more than what they've already taken.
Like you said, Jessica, you've turned this experience into something of an activist platform for yourself. Talk to us about some of the work that you do and some of the people that have come to you for help in the aftermath of your experience.
Well, following my rape, because of what I went through afterwards with the court and district surgeons and police and everything, I realized a girl goes through this every 17 seconds, and it's horrific that so many people have no one. So I decided I wanted to try and be that someone for those people who have no one, which is why I started the Jess Foord Foundation. And through the foundation, we are able to help young girls, young men, and young children, because it happens to everybody, to help everybody restore their lives after rape. And we don't only try and restore their lives after rape, but we try and enforce education about rape. I do school talks. I go into schools and talk to the kids about, you know, rape and trauma and how to overcome it and how to prevent it and how to be a real man in this country, which I think is something we really need to look forward and get. I mean, as you mentioned earlier with social media, I've put on my Facebook page a post that I got from a young boy, and he's a schoolboy, and it was his outrage at what is actually happening in this country with regards to rape and his point of view on it, and to see that these men are wanting to come forward. And I really think that we need to actually put it out there to all the icons, all the male icons out there, the rugby players, the soccer players, the actors, the singers, to come forward and voice their opinion and say that they are real men and they're not prepared to do it, because it's the young boys of today that are looking up to those men as to where to go with their lives, because so many of these men don't have parents.
Jess, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate that, and I'm sure that people who want more information, because your website deals with a lot of different issues related to this, can find you online. Jessica Foord is from the Jess Foord Foundation, joining us from our Durban studio.